Alrighty, with Boothill being out for a few hours now on all servers on Honkai Star, I'm finally here with the in-game guide for Boothill. Just like my other guides, this is going to be going over his kit, including his lightcones. We'll also be going over lightcone recommendations, alongside relic recommendations with some relic stat recommendations, along with some team ideas at the end. I apologize in advance if I sound a bit nasally. I stayed up all night trying to wait for Boothill because I couldn't sleep, and for some reason I ended up becoming sick. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for more videos like this. Let's get straight into it. So Boothill is a physical character following the path of Hunt. His basic attack deals physical damage equal to 100% of Boothill's attack to a single target enemy. His skill forces Boothill and a single target enemy into the standoff state. Boothill's basic attack gets enhanced, and he cannot use a skill lasting for 2 turns. This duration reduces by 1 at the start of Boothill's every turn. The enemy target in standoff becomes taunted. When this enemy / Boothill gets attacked by the other party in standoff, the damage they receive increases by 30% / 15%. After this target is defeated or becomes weakness broken, Boothill gains 1 stack of pocket trickshot, then dispels the standoff. This skill cannot regenerate energy. After using the skill, the current turn does not end. So as it says, it does lock enemies into a duel. Pretty much both sides end up taking increased damage. The enemy takes 30% increased damage while Boothill takes 15%. And that also enhances your basic attack, which becomes Fanning the Hammer, and what that does is deals physical damage equal to 220% of Boothill's attack to a single target enemy. The enhanced basic attack cannot recover skill points, and can only target the enemy that is in standoff. His ultimate applies physical weakness to a single target enemy lasting for 2 turns. Deals physical damage equal to 400% of Boothill's attack to the target and delays their action by 40%. His talent, each stack of pocket trickshot increases the enhanced basic attack's toughness reduction by 50%, stacking up to 3 times, so up to 150% toughness reduction. If the target is weakness broken while the enhanced basic attack is used, based on the number of pocket trickshot stacks, deals break damage to this target equal to 70% / 120% / 170% of Boothill's physical break damage. So the more pocket trickshots you have, the more break damage he will deal. The max toughness taken into account for this damage cannot exceed 16 times the base toughness reduction of the basic attack skill per spurs. After winning the battle, Boothill can retain pocket trickshot for the next battle. Technique. After the technique is used, when casting skill for the first time in the next battle, applies the same physical weakness to the target as the one induced by the ultimate, lasting for 2 turns. So if you guys do remember, he does apply physical weakness from the ultimate. Using the technique will let him do that throughout his first skill usage for the same 2 turns. So a nice little physical weakness implant you can do with this technique. For his bonus traces, first one, when in standoff and gaining pocket trickshot, regenerates 10 energy. Can also trigger this effect when gaining pocket trickshots, stacks that exceed the max limit. Second one, when Boothill is in the standoff state, reduces the damage he receives from targets that are not in the standoff state by 30%. So anyone that is not in standoff, because if you do remember, when you do lock them into standoff, they can only attack you and you can only attack them. Other enemies can attack you, but that damage is reduced. And for his broken third one, increases the character's crit rate / crit damage by an amount equal to 10% / 50% of break effect, up to a max increase of 30% / 150%. From the trace tree, you do get up to 37.3% break effect, 18% attack, and 10% HP. For his Eidolons, first one, when the battle starts, obtains 1 stack of pocket trickshot. When Boothill deals damage, ignores 16% of the enemy target's defense. Second one, when in the standoff state and gaining pocket trickshot, recovers 1 skill point, and increases break effect by 30%, lasting for 2 turns. Can also trigger this effect when gaining pocket trickshot stacks that exceed the max limit, but cannot trigger repeatedly within 1 turn. Fourth Eidolon, when the enemy target in standoff is attacked by Boothill, the damage they receive additionally increases by 12%. When Boothill is attacked by the enemy in standoff state, the effect of him receiving increased damage is offset by 12%. And for his sixth Eidolon, when triggering the talent's break damage, additionally deals break damage to the target equal to 40% of the original damage multiplier, and additionally deals break damage to adjacent targets equal to 70% of the original damage multiplier. Pretty much turning him into an AoE, which is pretty crazy. Now, talking about some Lightcone recommendations, his best one is obviously going to be his signature Lightcone. What it does is increases the wearer's break effect by 60%. The break damage dealt by the wearer ignores 20% of the target's defense. When the wearer's break effect in battle is at 150% or greater, increases their speed by 12%, and that's really easy to do because you want a lot more than 150% break effect. Not only that, but Lightcone is giving you a 60% stat stick to break effect, which is very, very good, and also giving you ignoring defense, which Boothill, since his damage is mainly from break, not really crit or attack or anything like that, ignoring defense is one of the best things he can do, so this Lightcone is easily his best one by a good amount. Now sadly past that, Boothill doesn't have too many options that are that crazy, but thankfully if you are not planning on getting his signature Lightcone, you can actually use the 3-star Lightcone. Since this is a 3-star, I'm going to display it at S5. What it does is when the wearer defeats an enemy, increases speed by 18% for 2 turns, giving him even more speed so you can get more actions, more times locking them in the standoff state, being able to shred through weakness bars faster. This Lightcone is surprisingly extremely powerful for him. Another option you can actually do is swordplay. Since it's a 4-star, I'll display it at S5, including the next ones that I'm going to mention. I'm going to display them all at S5. What swordplay does is for each time the wearer hits the same target, damage dealt increases by 16%, stacking up to 5 times. This effect will be dispelled when the wearer changes targets. Since with Fanning the Hammer he hits so many times, it is very easy to stack up this Lightcone, so you're getting a nice damage dealt increase. Another option is the River Flows in Spring. What it does is after entering the battle, increases the wearer's speed by 12% and damage by 24%. When the wearer takes damage, this effect will disappear. This effect will resume after the end of the wearer's next turn. So this one is a little tricky to use because you don't want Boothill to get hit. So it will require you to plan a lot and have the enemy's target to be broken, just so they can actually hit you, because if they hit you, then the effect is dispelled and then the Lightcone becomes effectively useless. So if you do want to use this one, I would definitely recommend planning your turns carefully. And then another option is the one from the Herd of Shop. What it does is increases the wearer's crit rate by 16% and increases their crit rate against enemies with HP less than or equal to 50% by an extra 16%. When the wearer defeats an enemy, their attack is increased by 40% for 2 turns. Critting with Boothill doesn't actually matter too much, but it's still just a nice little damage increase you can have. And so you can get up to a 32% increase to crit rate, which is really nice. And also getting a 40% increase to attack is also very nice. This Lightcone is much on the weaker side, but it's still an option you can use. Moving on to Relic recommendations. The best thing you can do currently is giving him the 4-piece of the Thief set. The 2-piece giving you 16% break effect and the 4-piece giving you an additional 16% break effect, up to 32% break effect with that. And when you do weakness break someone, you get 3 energy. So pretty much you're getting 32% break effect, which is really good. And now anytime you weakness break an enemy with Boothill, which is very often because that's the whole thing you want to do, you get 3 energy back, making it easier to get your ult. Another thing you can do, which is just equally as good, is running 2-piece of the Thief and 2-piece of Watchmaker, getting 32% break effect like that because both the 2 pieces give you 16% break effect. The only thing you're missing out on is the little energy, but that's pretty negligible anyways, so you don't have to do it. If you have better Watchmaker pieces to do a 2-piece, definitely would recommend that. Another thing you can do, which is very situational, just like anyone else that could use the set, is the 4-piece Quantum. The 2-piece is useless, but the 4-piece gives you 10% ignoring defense, which I mentioned is very good on Boothill to ignore defense, so this is nice. And if they do have a quantum weakness, you ignore an additional 20% defense, giving you up to a 20% defense ignore. Makes the quantum set the best in slot, but without it, it becomes significantly weaker. It's still usable, but it is significantly weaker than just doing 2-piece Watchmaker, 2-piece Thief, or 4-piece Thief. So I'd only recommend this if you have really good pieces on yours, and or you're taking them into a battle that has quantum weakness, or if you are pairing them with someone like Silverwolf, which is generally not recommended, but sometimes it can work. For the ornaments, the best one by far, and practically nothing else comes close, is the break effect one, giving you another 16% to break effect, and when you do have 145 speed or higher, you get an additional 20% break effect, giving you up to 36% break effect when you do have 145 speed or higher. It's really easy to get the 145 speed requirement because he already has a base speed of 107. Combining that with speed boost, and if you are running him with someone like Ruan Mei, it's extremely easy to get this, and even if you can't hit it, it is still his best one. But if you don't have any of those pieces, you can just use Glam Off. Giving you some attack percent is nice, and then giving you some damage dealt increased by the amount of speed you have. 12% for 135 speed and 18% for 160 speed. It is nice, but it's still not better than the break effect set. And if you really don't have either of those, you can do Rural Arena, only if you can hit the 70% of the crit rate requirement, giving your basic attack and skill damage to increase by 20%. Your skill doesn't do damage, but it is increasing your basic attack damage, but it is still significantly weaker than mainly the break effect set that is going to be his best in slot, bar none. And this one is also still worse than using Glamoth. And now for the main stats on the relics. So Boothill is an interesting one. Technically, the best one you can do for damage would be a crit body piece, mainly crit rate, that's what I would recommend. But you can actually use anything. So HP, defense, attack percent, whatever you want for the body. Whatever piece you do have that has the most amount of break effect and speed is the one you want to use. His damage mainly comes from break. Speed is also very important on him, so you mainly just want to focus on those two stats. So any on-piece relic set, so any pieces you have on the relic set you are using, the one with the most break effect and the most speed is going to be nice. The base stat doesn't really matter. For the feet, you're going to want speed. For the orb, physical damage bonus is definitely going to be a little better for damage, but again, just like the body, whatever you have that has the most break effect and speed will be the best option. And for the rope, you want break effect percent. For the substats, you want to get enough speed to where you at least have breakpoint, and if you are running the break effect set, if you can get 145 speed at base, that's going to be really good. Past that is practically equal priority to break effect. You want to get as much speed, you want to get as much break effect, and that's practically all you got to focus about. But past that, you can just get some crit damage, you can get some crit rate, attack percent, whatever. That's not going to help too much, but break effect and speed are the main ones you want to focus on. Now, for the team idea / team building section of the video, this really depends on what you want to do. So you do have Boothill as the main carry for the team. A really good all-around team is going to be him, Ruan Mei, someone like Bronya, if I could find her, there she is. And then your sustain. The best sustain will be Gallagher, just because he is a break-based healer. So this will practically be the best all-around team. Again, Gallagher is probably the most negligible one here. He's just there for the break help. You can easily sub him out for someone that you have that's better. You could take Aventurine because he is also really good with Boothill, pretty much just negating the damage Boothill will take in the standoff state because of his shield. You could also take someone like Fushwan, like I do, for the crit rate you can give that could help crit a little more. That's another option you can do. And if you want one that just pretty much skyrockets his damage, pretty much you would take Boothill with Ruan Mei still, because Ruan Mei is his best partner. And instead of someone like Bronya, you would actually take the Harmony Trailblazer. Harmony Trailblazer is going to skyrocket Boothill's damage thanks to Super Break. And then again, for the sustain, you would take someone like Gallagher, or if you don't have him built, you can take someone like Aventurine or Fushwan. Let's say you don't have someone like Ruan Mei, or you don't have the Harmony Trailblazer built. You could just take someone that's a debuffer. Like if you are doing the Quantum set, you'd probably want Silver Wolf on the team. If not Silver Wolf, you could also take Pela instead. And then again, you'd have your sustain, be it Gallagher, I'll just put Aventurine down here. And then the last one could be another Harmony support such as Bronya. Instead of Bronya, you can also actually use Sparkle. I don't recommend this too much because Bronya is a lot better with Boothill. But if you don't have a built Bronya, or if you don't have Bronya at all somehow still, and you do have Sparkle with a much better build, let's say, you can still do that. That is still fine. The 100%, the turn Bronya gives you opposed to the 50% action forward from Sparkle is a lot better, along with the damage that she gives as opposed to just attack percent crit damage, because again, Boothill's crit stuff doesn't really matter. But yeah, that is also another option. And yeah, that is practically it for the build guide. Let me know what teams you guys are running, what build you're running. Personally, I'm just doing two-piece of the break effect with the break effect ornaments, and then the teams. I am mainly doing the all-arounder team, and I'm sort of wondering if I want to use Bronya or Sparkle, because Bronya does give the full turn, while Sparkle doesn't give the full turn, gives a 50% action forward instead. But my Sparkle is E2, so the damage is really nice. I can't really tell which one I like better. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys are running, how your summons went, all that stuff, and yep, peace out.